I think feminists really don't understand men. And I think they don't try to understand men. And I think men don't understand women and often explain rather humorously that they literally don't understand women. But anyway, my point is this. I saw this meme posted on Twitter. Women in Power says, what if the harassment shoe was on the other foot? Exactly. You wouldn't like it either. We wouldn't? Guys would not like it? You know, let me show you this comic, and then I'll explain to you at least how I feel. How would I, as a dude, feel if I was walking down the street and some chick was like, man, you look pretty good. You look nice. Like, how would you feel about that? Let me show you the comic. All right, so check it out. The first one is there's a guy, and he's smiling, and there's a lady, and she goes, hey, man, you look cute. You'd smile more. You know what? Okay, let me read. Hello, lovely gentleman, says a woman in, I guess, a miniskirt suit or something. The next one is, you fixed your own computer. You're so smart. That's impressive. Thanks. You look way too good to be a cashier, says the old lady. All right. Let me break these down and we'll talk about how I feel, and you comment below and let me know how you feel. Hey, man, you look cute. You should smile more. Do you know what my reaction would be if I was walking down the street and some woman said that? I don't care if the woman is 50 years old and morbidly obese. I don't care if the woman is in her 20s and is busty and beautiful. My reaction would be, wow, thank you. And I'd probably start smiling. I'd be like, oh, I do look good. Look at that. Hello, lovely gentleman, says the boss. Literally don't care and have no idea what that means anyway. If I'm sitting down to work and someone said, hello, lovely gentleman, I'd be like, hi. This is meaningless to me. I really like this one. You fixed your own computer. You're so smart. That's impressive. Thanks. Yo, like a woman complimenting a guy on his technical abilities. He's going to be like, well, I do feel good about this. Like, could you imagine just doing any task you know how to do? Any task. And having a woman be like, wow, you're really good at that. You'd be like, yeah, I've been practicing. Who? Are you serious? So hold on, let me get this straight. If a woman was fixing her computer and a guy said, you fixed your own computer? Wow, you're so smart. That's impressive. She'd be like, excuse me? That's harassment? Wait, what? You look way too good to be a cashier. Oh, come on now. You see, this one's real. This happens all the time. When I was a teenager working at a cafe or when I was working at a grocery store, I'd have a bunch of cougar old ladies being like, oh, you're such a cute, handsome young man. What are you doing here working at the grocery store? And I'd be like, well, ma'am, I got to pay the bills. That happens all the time. I wanted to talk about this because I just love the social connotations. Women in Power, that's the name of the Facebook page, says you wouldn't like it either. You know why? Here's what I think. For one, obviously, men and women are different. Men and women are bimodal. The genders are bimodal. What that means is there's some overlap in social, in how we act socially and how we behave and how we experience things. But for the most part, they're very different. Simply put, women want and expect different things from men on average. But I'll tell you what I think really makes a difference here. First, women are being conditioned today to be offended by compliments. Now, hold on your pretty little faces. I am not saying that a dude on the street being like, damn girl, what up, is a compliment. I'm saying that a guy on the street seeing a pretty woman and saying, how do you do, ma'am? They get offended by that. Like the dude could literally say nothing. And like I mentioned in a segment, I did a few days ago, the 10 hours of walking through New York as a woman, there are some guys who are just like, morning, miss. And they'd be like, oh, how dare you? It's not harassment. But not only that, apparently women are really upset that guys are like, you should smile more. Here's the crazy thing about it. I actually think it's kind of annoying if it happened all the time. Smile more, smile more. I'd be like, okay, patronizing. But who cares? Literally, who cares? Like I was saying, like if it was me, it never happens. So if a woman said it to me, I'd probably smile and be like, oh, thank you for the compliment. But I'll tell you what I find funny. The meme. You all know it. You've all seen it. It's the Guardian writer, and she's like, catcalling is so awful. And then the next one, it's like 3 years later, she's like, men don't catcall me anymore, and it makes me feel bad. It's like, how much of this is like hard to get? You know what I mean? Again, I will stress, harassment is not what I'm talking about. creepy dudes doing creepy things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about compliments. I'm talking about a woman working at a grocery store and a guy being like, you're beautiful. What are you doing working at a grocery store? You get offended by that? Well, I don't care. I don't care if you're offended. That's stupid. Hello, lovely ladies. Imagine a boss walked into a room, said, hello, lovely ladies. Let's get to work. You'd be mad by that. Calling you a lovely lady. This is the craziest thing. So my point is this. I don't think it's so much that women get complimented so much they get tired of it. I think men and women are different and expect different things. I think one component of it is no matter what you do, it's not going to be the right thing because there's a game of like cat and mouse or hard to get or something. What do they call it? The date guys. What is it? I don't know what they're called. The pickup artists. They call it. They have a phrase for it. What's it? It's some kind of test. I don't know, BS test or something like that, where I don't know if it's true, but they'll get mad at you no matter what you do. So I don't know about all that stuff, but I do think when you see like, remember the Gillette commercial where it was like toxic masculinity is bad? Yes, some of it was toxic masculinity. Some of it was like dudes just horsing around. But that felt like a commercial written by a woman who doesn't understand men and doesn't want to understand men and just doesn't like men. Like, where does this come from? You know what I mean? I suppose we talk about it in the context of a depopulation agenda, this stripping away of masculinity. But I wonder what the root is, because I genuinely don't think it's a grand conspiracy to take away masculinity. I think what you probably have is, actually, I'll break it down for you, what I think we're seeing here with memes like this. Women complain. I'm not saying all women, I'm not saying everyone, I'm not saying women every time. I'm saying there was a group of women and they complained about things. Guys don't want to deal with it, say fine. And that is the trend which leads to this massive over-feminization of society. A guy grows up. And you know what I think? I think most of you know this because you're mostly dudes. A man grows up with zero social value. That's what they call it, social market value. What value do you provide to society? This is where things get interesting. As a dude, nothing. As you get older and develop skills and learn how to navigate the world and become the best, your value goes up. You make more money. You're attracting more women. Now you're reaching your late 20s and all of a sudden you've got a job, you got skills, you're making money, you got a car. Now younger women are into that. You're gaining societal value. But women around your age are starting to go down. And this is not my opinion. I don't think women become less valuable as they age, but that is what society shows in the studies, which it's unfortunate. Hey, I'm not in favor of it. It's just the way things are. These women are now losing societal value when they started at 100. There was I think I was reading this from OkCupid. This is what they talk about. Women are prized by society for their ability to bear children. I know it's unfortunate. I'm not saying I agree with it. To a great degree, I think it is important and we do value it. But I'm not saying it should be the only determining factor for a woman. For young men, we don't need you. One guy can have 100 kids with 100 women in 9 months. It's a lot of work for that guy, but it's possible. I mean, probably a long shot, but, physically can be done. And so this is what happens. If a guy has no skills, nobody cares. Here's what I see happening. Y'all grow up and you've been crapped on, insulted, and devalued, and you're used to it. You're used to no compliments. You're used to it that no one will say nice things to you. You are used to it that they will say, I could replace you in 2 seconds. You are worthless. Women, less so. Women are not used to that. Women are used to being protected. Women are used to growing up and having everyone say, we got to keep you safe. Boys can't hit girls. Girls can do this. Boys can't do that. And yet, feminists are pushing the idea that it's the inverse. Now, don't get me wrong. Women historically have been overly protected for that reason. But with that tremendous value, what do you see? Substantially less likely to be homeless, less likely to take their own lives, less likely to be victims of violent crime. As guys start getting more social value and they hear women complaining about stuff, they say, I have dealt with so much in my life, I quite literally just don't care. Fine, you can have whatever you want. Thus, the over-feminizing of society. Look, I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to come out and say I know everything about how everything is happening or whatever. But I can tell you my experiences. And I remember when I was growing up and I was poor and I needed work. You know what every a restaurant, every low-skilled job said to me. I lived in an area, service industry area. Every single bar and restaurant I went to said, we don't hire men. To my face. And I said, I'm going to be homeless. Like, I need work. And one guy took pity on me and says, look, man, come here Friday, Saturday night. I'll give you $50 per night if you help clear the tables and clean things up. Took pity on me. He didn't need me to do it, but he knew that I was trying to find work, that I was honest, hardworking guy. Nobody would hire me. Here's the best part. I get a job doing security at a venue. You know, I'm like 21. They're paying me $7 an hour to do it. Security. And I'm like the biggest guy in the world. I'm fairly average. For some reason, people think I'm short. I don't know why. It's like I meet people and they're like, well, you're taller than I thought. I'm like, yeah, I'm like 5'10", 5'10 and a half, 5'11". I don't know. And anyway, I'm working in the venue. 21-year-old women making hundreds of dollars per night bartending, and they don't know how to bartend. That's society. I have my issues with it, but it is what it is. And it was because older guys wanted the young women to pour them a drink. And then they would tip the young girl tons of money, and I didn't have that. So it's funny to see things like this because these feminists, they really don't care to understand. They just think it's the boys club and boys can do whatever they want and boys will be boys. And it's like, that's not true. Man, I don't know. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimCastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.